Good afternoon, Lisa.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
What have I shown you?
But we have just watched Hickory House.
Hickory House.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hickory House ran from 1973 to 1977 for 5 seasons, a total of 129 episodes.
Okay.
And apparently every single one survives at Granada.
Okay. We should just say what Hickory House is in case anybody doesn't know.
Sort of preschool children
it's a
show,
sort of,
isn't it? Sort of rainbowy.
Yeah,
but...
rainbow or Pipkins.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
And I vaguely remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you or not?
Not really.
No, you've only seen it.
I've seen it since.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I have to say, I always remember it because I was ever so slightly scared of it.
Okay.
So we need to go through why I was scared of it based on the episode that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But the one we've got hit now is presented by Alan Rothwell and Louise Hall-Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You said you'd seen some with Amanda Berry in
yeah,
as well.
I'm sure we had someone. I think we had that one on DVD.
Yeah.
Because we've got a children's DVD set here. But I think I have seen some with Amanda Berry in. Yes.
Yeah.
Talking to Dusty.
But you get the title sequence, which shows the house.
Yes.
Very much in the play school vein, isn't it? It draws the house. But the house, even itself is a little disturbing because all the doors have got faces on them, haven't they?
Slightly sinister faces.
Yeah, and I just wrote scary house with doors with sinister faces. So that's the first thing. But we're in the kitchen with Louise, aren't we? And the first of a couple of animated things makes its appearance.
I do. Yeah.
Which is Dusty Mop.
Yes.
How would you describe Dusty Mop? He's
a mop. He's a mop.
Well,
head.
he's a mop head. He's not. He's not a mop with a handle,
and
is he?
It's like the old-fashioned kind of mop, which is all strands.
White sort of thick string, isn't it? And he's got a sticky out red nose, which is quite phallic, really.
A bit. Yeah.
And he's sort of jumping up and down, isn't he? Because he's animated from above on strings. This is the Barry Smith Theatre of Puppets, also known for Michael Bentine's Potty Time.
Yes.
But yeah, Dusty's on the table, singing about Dusty's in his den. And he's jumping in and out of the washing up bowl.
Yes.
And several sort of pans, isn't he? Louise has got a big pan and a little pan.
A smaller pan.
And and I just wrote piddling about in pots and pans, and I hope he wasn't. But if she's going to put these pans away, having a dirty mop jumping in and out of them, it's not very hygienic.
No.
She needs to wash them again now. Now he's he's shed all these bits of dirt in there.
He's not that dirty. He's a clean mop.
Is he? But mops are used to clean things up.
They are used to clean things up, but obviously he's not. But he's clean. He's clean.
Is he?
Yeah, well, he looks clean.
Okay. But yeah, so he's jumping in and out, and she's got 2 pans, one of which is bigger than the other.
Yes.
And he's amazed by this, isn't he? The fact that one pan can fit inside another.
Because the smaller one's inside the bigger one, and he thinks it's one pan, and she takes it out, and she's got 2, and he thinks this is like magic or something.
And it has to be explained to him that the big one won't fit inside the small one. And I did think of the TARDIS scene from Robots of Death Part 1 at this point.
If you could have that one, the big one over there, and also over here, yes.
Yeah. What do you think of the decor of the kitchen?
It's
very blue, isn't
it?
It's all the sort of cupboards and things have got very, very
and they got one of those
blue doors.
Standalone dressers that you only really see in the 70s.
But yeah, Dusty jumps about a bit more, manages to hurt his nose going in. So there's a lesson for kids: don't jump in and out of pots and pans.
Yes, or if you do, make sure you haven't got your nose aimed at the bottom of them.
Well, I don't think many kids have got noses like that.
No,
so
probably not. No,
it should be all right. What's his nose made of? Wood? Do you think?
I have no idea. I'm not even sure which part of the mop that is. Whether that's the bit that connects to the stick.
Well, we're assuming it's his nose, isn't it? Then you get an animation of triangles.
Yes.
And I just wrote time wasting at this point.
They always, these kinds of programmes, not so much because it says that at the end of the episode that Clopper Castle is going to be on before the next episode. But those ones, things like that, and Pipkins and Rainbow,
pad it out
you get
with
a bit
some
of padding
shapes.
out with some pictures and shapes and things.
There's triangles that turn into the sails of boats on the sea and then all that. But then we cut to the scariest thing of all, which is Humphrey Cushion.
I never quite managed to fathom out Humphrey Cushion.
No, even as a kid, I remember being scared of Humphrey Cushion.
Because he's sort of... He looks like he's got a sort of...
He's got a head.
Hood.
He's got a head and like long ears, as though he's some sort of dog, isn't he? And then he's got like one hand that he gesticulates with, and he's got a square sort of body with a flap or pocket, as he calls it. I'm sure I remember he had a zip, but
I think he's got buttons in this one.
I can't remember how he actually sort of.
It's
works.
like Davros. He's only got one hand to do stuff with.
Oh, maybe that's why I found him scary, because I thought of Davros. I don't know. Yeah, perhaps he's got a race of evil cushions that he's working on that are going to take over the house. But he's got 3 tins.
Yes, he's got 3 tins.
And Alan comes in and Dusty says, "I've got a problem."
Yeah, because he's got 3 tins.
And he's got 3 things.
3 things to put in the tins.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what to put in which tin.
Well, the problem is all the tins look
and
the
they
same.
Look alike.
Because they're like sort of round, sort of blue metal tins.
Yeah.
I suppose tins are metal, aren't they?
Really? Mostly, yeah.
But he's got a string, a bit of string, a sweet, and an apple.
And an apple, yeah.
And but Alan points out that if you put each one in
an individual tin,
then shake it about, they each make a different noise.
Yes.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
So the string makes a stringy noise.
Sort of a rattly noise.
The sweet sort of bumps about.
Makes more of a noise.
And the apple is heavier and makes a sort of thud.
And gets bruised.
And you just put bruised to hell by now. Because they like shake it up.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that with apples.
No, it'll be bruised.
It's going to be have all brown bits on it in a few minutes. But yeah, so Louise comes in and Alan sort of demonstrates how you can tell what's in the tin. So he shakes the first tin and there's no noise, and he shakes the rest of the tins and there's no noise. Because Humphrey's eaten his sweet.
Yeah.
Is eating the apple.
Yeah, and he's put the string in his pocket.
And he's put the string in his flap, or body, as I put. Because I honestly don't know whether it's a pocket or whether it's an actual part of his physiognomy.
Yeah.
Well, not his physiognomy, that would be his face, wouldn't it? But his body.
Yeah.
Don't know. And I want to know what he's stuffed with as well. Is he foam or what? Or feathers? I don't know. I'm not going to like slit him open and find out, because that would be cruel. But then you get the animation, which is the same animation used
exactly
again.
the same. It's just repeated. It's pointless.
But then Alan's got a big box with M written on it, because today's letter is M.
M.
And apparently M makes a friendly noise, which is mmm.
Yes.
Mmm. Sounds like a cow, doesn't it? But he gets all these things out of the box.
Yeah.
Which, so in order, it's some money. Is it some silver? So it might be some 10p's
it looks like a huge
or something.
10p.
But then you remember that this is the 70s and 10p's were bigger then.
Yeah.
He's got a money box.
Yeah.
Which he sticks his money in. Then you got excited when he got out Martin the monkey.
Martin the monkey.
Why were you excited about Martin the monkey?
Because I had a monkey like that. It's like one of those. It's like a chimpanzee, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's sort of about that big.
Yeah.
And it's got hands and feet, like flesh coloured. Not flesh coloured. Well, that's what
Are they hard?
Yeah, they were sort of hard silicone.
Yeah.
And I had one, and I used to love that monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got a hole in his foot at the end.
Why did he get a hole in his foot?
Because the silicone must have started to perish, I suppose, whatever his foot was made out of. But yeah, I did love that monkey. His eyes shut.
All right. Okay.
That's the nearest thing I had to a doll, because I never liked dolls.
All right.
So that's the nearest thing to a doll, and I used to carry it around by its hand, because you could hold its hand.
Okay. Also in the box is a mug, some milk, and I just put off. Because it's been in the box in the studio.
One hopes
not
that
in the fridge.
They've just put that in there, actually, just before they filmed that shot.
It hasn't been in there for like 6 weeks.
No, because it does look, it moves.
It
so
moves, it's not
like
solid.
Solid, but it might be slightly on the turn.
You're too early for free school milk.
No, we did have free school milk.
So,
for a bit.
But didn't they? We had free school milk in a crate, a red crate that was left outside
in the sun.
And it was horrible.
Yeah. I don't really drink milk, and I think it
that put you
back,
off, didn't it? Yeah.
To that.
Because it started to solidify.
The only time I have milk is in tea or coffee or in cereal. I very rarely drink milk.
They lamented the loss of free school milk, but I think it was a blessing.
Yeah, well, free school milk is a good idea if you've got somewhere cold to store it, not outside the classroom in the full glare of the sun.
There's a mouse, which is like a toy mouse, which is apparently called Minnie.
Yes.
They didn't take long to think that out, did they? And I just put copyright. Then he goes on about various names that you could be called: Margaret, Michael, Mary, and Miss Muffet. Have you ever met a Miss Muffet?
I've never met a Miss Muffet.
No, right. Then we get Louise in another a bare bit of the studio, sitting on her tuffet, which isn't a tuffet, it's a stool. Yeah.
And somebody's kicked the backdrop.
And the backdrop is absolutely covered in crap.
Yeah, because it looks like somebody's taken a good kick because there's a mark.
There's a dirty, great skid mark.
Yeah. I think somebody's just literally kicked it, or trod on it, or walked over it, or something.
Yeah, it's like no matter how much they try and hide it with the camera angle,
they can't.
It's just utterly filthy. And if that's the standard of their hygiene, I don't want to drink that milk. So she sat there eating her curds and whey from a mixing bowl.
Yeah, with a big wooden spoon.
And I had a mixing bowl
exactly
we had
one like that as well. Yeah, I think
big,
most people
big one, sort of very sort of. What colour is it?
It's sort of beige.
Beige colour.
Yes.
Yeah. But Dusty sort of comes down trying to be the spider.
Yeah, he don't make it the first time, does he?
No, you just see his shadow and he doesn't. He goes back up again.
Yeah.
I just thought they'd made some effort to make him into a spider.
Yes.
Like stick some legs on him or something.
He comes down and she has to actually stand up and grab it. It's like the puppeteer can't get him all the way down. The string's not long enough
to get him down.
So she stands up and she's hugging him and
sort of
stuff.
toying with his nose and kissing it.
And kissing it,
and it looks rude. It's just my
filthy imagination.
Yeah, it is. Then we get the story, which is The Great Big Enormous Turnip, which, according to the end credits, was written by Alexei Tolstoy. Not Leo Tolstoy, which is the one you were thinking of.
Well, no, that's the only Tolstoy I know.
But there are several Alexei Tolstoys.
Okay.
Trouble is, when you say Alexei, I think of Alexei Sale. But this is Alexei Nikolaevich Tolstoy, 1882 to 1945. Nicknamed the Comrade Count. I think it says Count. He specialised in science fiction and historical novels, apparently.
The Great Big Turnip.
But he also adapt. Well, Great Big Turnip is one of those old
Russian
stories.
Folktale,
he produced a version of it.
You can tell it's a Russian folktale by the way, because it's illustrated, and it's the way it's illustrated. You can tell that the person that's illustrating it has based it on an old sort.
Is he meant to be Russian?
Well, yeah, because it's like because you've got the old man and the old woman. The old woman's got a black dress on. And a lot of I think Russian peasants.
But peasantry.
Wore that kind of
I
thing.
had this as a Ladybird book.
All right, okay.
Yeah, and so I think most people probably know the story. But the old man's grown an enormous turnip. Lucky him. And so he goes and he can't pull it up on his own.
No.
And then you get the old woman comes and she helps. And then they seem to skip a generation because they send her the granddaughter.
Yeah.
I don't know why she's hanging about. They've got a son or daughter or something,
Maybe
or
not.
are they off out in the fields?
Maybe. They're picking the potatoes.
Yeah. The dog comes to help. I love the way the dog just pulls as though it's a human being.
The dog, the cat.
And the cat sends for the mouse.
Yes.
It's a very trusting mouse.
It's a very trusting
What
mouse.
relationship has the cat and the mouse got?
I don't know.
Are they friends
They're
or
friends,
what?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just looked at the way everybody was tugging at this thing, and I went, "You do your back in doing it like
just dig
that."
it up.
And I said, "Why not just get your spade, dig it up? You know, it'd take you 5 minutes, but it wouldn't do your back in so much." But they managed to get it out.
But they all fall over in the process.
And they all fall over. So you you should do a risk analysis of your manual handling before you do it. But anyway, in comes Louise now in the. I suppose it's like the sitting room that they're on. Humphrey's on the sofa.
Well, he uses a cushion.
And he spies Louise's box, doesn't he?
He's got a cake box.
She's got a box that he likes to look at, and he reckons there's something nice to eat inside her box. And it turns out that he's correct, as she's brought cakes.
Yes.
So Alan comes in with some plates, And then they just piddle about for 2 minutes.
Who's going to have
Who's
which
going to
cake?
have which cake?
Because there's a cream cake, a jam tart,
and a donut.
And Humphrey wants the cream cake. Well, Louise says she'll have the cream cake.
Louise has the cream cake.
But
and then
Humphrey wants the cream cake.
Oh dear.
Yes.
Ooh. Well, I like cream cakes.
Was he played by Derek Nimmo?
That wasn't Derek Nimmo. That was all right. So Humphrey wants the cream cake.
So she gives him the cream cake.
So then Louise has the donut.
Yeah, and Alan gets the
jam tart.
But he doesn't like jam tarts. So Humphrey says he'll have the jam tart.
It's just overly complicated.
Alan can have the cream cake, but then Louise wants the cream cake, so Alan gets the donut. In the end, they cut them all in half and they have half each. But the jam tart goes flying.
Yes, I just put Louise cuts the jam tart in half.
And it gets stuck to the knife.
It goes flying. And does it? At least it doesn't land up on the floor.
No, it sort of lands up on her lap.
But I said it's all hairy now, probably.
That's all right. Humphrey will eat it.
It's covered like stray bits of dusty mop, probably. Yeah. So they'd be picking bits of string out of their mouth for the rest of the day. But yeah, jam tart goes flying. They all have a bit each, and they're all happy, and the credits roll. And apparently next week Humphrey's expecting tomorrow. Yeah, it's Clopper Castle, and Humphrey's expecting a parcel from the postman.
Yes.
But yeah, that's all right, isn't it? That wasn't too bad.
No, it's. I do wonder when they think these things out, why they think of a cushion and a mop.
Well, what do you think of the characterisation of Dusty Mop and Humphrey Cushion?
Humphrey Cushion in a way is a bit like Hartley Hare. He's quite selfish.
Yeah.
In the way that Hartley Hare is quite selfish.
But I find his voice quite intimidating.
Yeah, his voice is he's quite sort of...
He's very stern, isn't
he?
Like pompous.
Yes.
And as a kid...
He's quite full of himself, isn't he?
As a kid I'd be quite scared. Yeah, I mean, Dusty Mop is more enthusiastic, isn't he? Because he's sort of jumping about a bit.
He's sort of like a sort of dog or something.
Yeah. But, yeah, I forget whether there were any other sort of animated things. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it's one of those things that's quite interesting to go back to if you've got memories of it.
I remember once having a conversation, we were at a Doctor Who convention at breakfast, weren't we, about the things that scared us as a child. Yeah. And it was a weird dining room in the fact that the next bit of it was raised up slightly, and we were sitting here, I think there was about 4 or 5 of us. Yeah. And John Leeson was at the next table. We were having this conversation about what scared us John Leeson, it was always K9 and the Nucleus. Invisible Enemy, and we were having this conversation about what scared us as children, and it was things like Dusty Mop, not Dusty Mop, but Humphrey Cushion, Orange Belisha Beacons.
That wasn't me.
No, and for me it was Statler and Waldorf.
Why were you scared of Statler and
Waldorf?
They
were grumpy.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, well, there you are. But that's Hickory House. Quite fun.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting, and I think some of these sort of kids things are worth at least a look, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. See you soon then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.